Hey guys, it's me again, Orchler. Where we last left off, let's see, checking. What if Bell? Let's see. Bell kept the men supported with a shield on the walls when a very large group of orcs attacked. Saruman used that time to send fireballs and lightning bolts at them, with Radagast more or less having given them the information about the attack. They defended the walls with a lot of success, considering they had shields of magic to protect them from flying arrows. That being said, what happens now is that Bel's father speaks with Bel's mother, saying that Saruman would be willing to take Bel to a safe place to allow him training, he would say. And that Saruman would be leaving soon. Didn't give him a specific time, but he said he would be leaving. And they talk it over. Well, the orc attacks just get worse and worse. I would appreciate it if Bel could be safe somewhere. If he's learning magic, that would give him even more so. Bel's father says, I agree. As the next day he speaks with Saruman that he and his wife talked about it, and that Bel would be allowed to go with him, just as long as he keeps up with both forms of training. And his combat skills as well as his magic skills. That is what he wants. Saruman says he personally isn't that gifted when it comes to the way of the sword, but he's sure he could find some mages who were more along those lines. His father is grateful and thanks Saruman. He's like, alright, I must speak with the chief once more. As Bel is still is up early training, and he actually trains a little bit with some of the other soldiers, or guards. Take it easy on him, and use training swords as they typically would. Bel actually is defending against some good, decently for his age, since like I said, he's 13. And he's been getting better pretty rapidly. He's been training since he was 10. So he's been training for a while. Also his magic. If he had a staff, he would be using it as as Gandalf does use it. He uses it to knock orcs on the head and such in the movies and such. So Bel would be doing something similar if he had his staff with him, but he doesn't want to take the chance of the staff breaking. He doesn't know what it's made out of, so, Bel is then Saruman approaches Bel and explains the situation to him, saying that his parents have given him permission to come along with them to the Isengard, where the wizards stay at, saying that if he so wishes, he can come with them. Bel said he wouldn't want to abandon his parents, so he speaks with them again, saying he gives Saruman information later, being 100% sure they're okay with him going. Because Bel, like I've said before, he really wants to learn magic. And with being in Saruman's tutelage for a short period of time, he's already learned several other spells. So, he figures that, a few, not several. Let's see, Magic Bolt, Shatter, he became more effective with the shield. Firebolt, Shatter is what I'm calling it. Magic Bolt, and the Light spell. So yeah, he's learned 4 new ones. So with that being said, he talks with his parents, and they are 100% sure that they want him to go. Well, at least 90%. So that way, even if they do fall, he won't be dragged along with them. Bel thanks his parents deeply, and he asks Saruman when they leave. He says, we leave when I am sure that this village is secure, as my duty is. As he says that with our powers, we can defend them more effectively. And when we can begin your training in earnest, yours will as well. He's like, yes, sir. As then Radagast is told the same information, giving the same answer, saying that they'll leave when the village is safe. Why am I yawning? I'm not even tired. Why? Radagast pretty much says he would actually like to go. He has no one here to hold him down, so, he goes with them. And it's like a month or so that passes. They're training more of their abilities, and Bell has gotten pretty proficient with the magic bolt, and he's on his way to learning magic bolt. I mean, not magic bolt, but firebolt. Because, well, as you would know, magic bolt is... offensive magic would probably be more difficult to teach than other things like defensive magic. That's why Bell was able to do it much more quickly with not firebolt, but the shield. And why? Dang it! Why am I yawning so much? Bell has that all explained to him, as by the end of the month, they are packed up and ready to go. Bell and them are given a pony, you could say. Bell, during that time, was also taught how to ride a pony, yes. As Radagast rides with Saruman and Bell gets his own pony, they just go along as it's like clop, clop, clop. As they're going fast, like they're running with the horses, but Saruman's horse is staying at a pace where the pony won't like fall behind by a lot. As when it comes to nighttime, they unfortunately have to set up a camp. Bell asks should they get a fire going. Saruman says no. Eat the dried meat you have. We will move out as soon as it's morning. The orcs come out at night. So keep your weapons close. And be prepared to shout any form of magic if need be. They're on like a nice little hill, similar, well, yeah, pretty much similar to the thing in Lord of the Rings where Bilbo and them stayed. Well, not Bilbo, but Frodo and them. They stay near a place where it'd be easy for them to duck and hide behind cover. And the horses were brought up there too to stay hidden as well. Didn't want some orcs to come by and just like try to jump on them. That being said, Radagast sleeps pretty silently, and Bell wakes up in the middle of the night, also seeing Saruman as he's passed out. Bell looks over out on not horizon, but over like certain area, and he sees torches of orcs and goblins. Bell's like, oh dang it. As he's like looking close, trying to keep an eye on, he's like, whew, that's a lot of them. As it's like a nice little platoon, you could say. Like 50 orcs or such. It looks like they have actual armor. And they have weapons. They look pretty much like the other ones, just like swords and such. Few axes tossed here and there. And they even have a warg rider that looks to be their commander. As he's shouting out orders, "Move it, you lot! There's a town on the other side that we can take. There's plenty of man flesh for anyone who fights." As like the orcs are like encouraged, as they start double timing it, as it's like, hurry up, as they start running along, or jogging, not running. As he's like, Saruman comes next to him, he's like, Bell, he's like, oh, Jesus, Saruman. Oh, why did you do that to me? He's like, what did you see? He's like, there was 50 orcs with one commanding them. I think they're making their way to the town we were just at. He's like, so this isn't just single orc tribes attacking, just coincidentally. There must be other ones at play. That being said, Deku and them by, like I said, first light, set out immediately. They got a week or so of travel, well, a couple of weeks, I would say, travel ahead of them. Since they can't move out throughout the night, where Saruman would definitely push them to. But since there's orcs about, and he doesn't know if, like, when an entire column of them could just descend upon them, he's taking the safe ways. Like, as soon as it starts getting dark, they try to find a safe place to hide out for the night. never using fires or anything. And even, like, they're going eating bread, fruit, and, like, dried meat this entire time. That's how I thought it would make sense. And I'll say it's just a single week, which I think is relatively reasonable. That being said, Belle and them, during this time, they don't get a lot of training in. As Belle and Saruman pretty much just speak on some other fundamentals of magic, like more defensive spells, offensive spells, and that about like healing spells and such, stuff that would help them. Saruman says that there are those who are gifted with healing magic, but it is a very hard one to do, as he explains that as a form of light magic that would heal you. As for other things, like everyone has a natural affinity, as he explains it. For instance, Radagast's affinity is with animals in the forest. That's how he was able to learn the ensnare spell. You are more neutral, Belle. You don't really have an affinity for anything, but you are a quick learner. Being able to do such a wide variety of spells in such a short pace of only 4 or 5 months is pretty good, considering you've already learned a defensive spell, which casts an entire shield, got a bit of fire magic, a bit of light magic, a bit of illuminating magic, also actual just plain out magic, and a force spell, as you would say, as it shatters, as he says, shatter. It's some of the basics of magic, but it still is very effective. Belle's like, alright, as it's like starting to get dark now, let's go, as they go find another place. Very next day, it's like, it should only take us a little bit more time to go. They haven't run into orcs in the past day. That's only really because, sorry, Robert. Aside, because they're in the territory of the Isengard now. There aren't a lot of wizards that are sent out here, but they do patrols. Apprentices and their masters come out and search the area for anything that may pose a threat to Isengard. It's like, how many wizards are actually in Isengard? Think of it as this, Belle. Sorry, I'm trying to keep down yawns. Think of this, Belle. It's more or less like a home for wizards, like a home away from home. Like how you would go to a different place if it's winter, or something along those lines. For other places, they do that. This is sort of where we all convene. At any given time, there's at least 500 wizards in Isengard. He's like, that's a lot of people. He's like, for a town, yes, but for a city, quote unquote, it really isn't that much, as he explains it. But that's only because wizards who are either training their own apprentices or are teachers, no, not teachers, but or of high ranking, only stay here. Wizards are all over the entire world, Belle. Be they elves, men, or even dwarves in some cases, though dwarves with magic are rare beyond belief. As he gives more explanations, as eventually they arrive at Isengard. And if you guys think of anything, the Ents from Lord of the Rings, Radagast says, the trees, they're speaking. It's like, yes. Saruman says it. We have forest people known as the Ents. Now, I've been here longer than even Isengard was created. As far as we know, at least. The oldest ones among them say that they were here even before the first men, or even orcs. start arriving. They are somewhat spirit in nature, as he explains it. Then going on to say, we have arrived. As they arrive at the town, or at the city, they approach the gates. It's like, before you enter, what is your meaning and who are you? He's like, I am Saruman. Information gatherer for the council. As they look at each other, and who's these two with you? He's like, these are my apprentices, Radagast and Bell. Bell. He's like, very well. We'll check with you in a moment. As they say this, they are wizards in armor, like battle armor, with swords even, and magic staves. As they're like, it's good to move in, bring him. As Bell, not as Bell, but as the gates open, as they cross the moat, the gate is shut behind them. They're looking around them. It's like, you can take your ponies and horses over there. It's like, thank you. Saruman bows his head. As then Bell gets off his pony and walks it with Saruman. If you guys want to know, Bell was taught how to ride a horse or rode with a horse, because Bell's father thought it'd be a skill. Because Bell, like his father, was very adventurous, as he noticed that from a young age from all his exploring when he was younger. So, like I said, there are reasons. Bell then goes on to being in marvel at the city. He's like, I've never been in a city before, Master Saruman. He's like, well, this one will be your home for now. Understood? He's like, yes. Now, in the meantime, I will take you to my lodgings, and there you will wait for me to return. Do not touch anything. Do not touch anything until I get back. As then he takes them there, and they sit down and are just waiting, as it's just like Radagast sleeps in Saruman's bed, not using the covers or anything, just sleeps on top of the bed. As Bell looks out the window, seeing other wizards training their apprentices, like Magic Bolt, and as Bell's like, that was an easy spell, why are they having such difficulty? Some of them chant and using incantations. What was that one called? Sorry. As some of them just use incantations. Dang it, I forgot the word there for a second. Incantations. As he's like, so I guess some spells need that. Has he just been teaching me? As then Saruman comes back, he's like, sorry for the wait. Now, where's Radagast? He's like, he's sleeping on your bed. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm seeing some of these apprentices attempting to use magic. Like several of them are using Magic Bolt, while a few others are testing incantations, I think you've called them before. Saying a bunch of words, then just something happens, I'm not sure. As it's like, yes, some of the more powerful spells require an incantation of words, or sometimes even offerings, such as, there's one and I heard in another land that uses a bit of your blood. It ends up compressing your enemy down and forcing them down for as long as you can handle it. He's like, oh, that's cool. He's like, indeed. Now, get Radagast up and we shall train for a little bit. He's like, yes, sir. So what did the wizards say? They said that they'll call in some information from their informants, or from their intel gatherers like me. He's like, oh, so did anyone who trained you? He's like, I was left here when I was a child, from what I can remember at least, but I don't know about everyone else. Says, oh, well, it's sorry to hear that. He's like, there's no bother. Because of that time of not having a family, I was able to focus, and I have become powerful indeed. As then he walks out to a training area with Bell and Radagast. as several of them are older than them, like students and such. As in they're like, hey, look at those two. It's like, alright, now, let us make sure you have not forgot the basics. Radagast, shield. Bell, use some magic. He's like, yes sir. As he focuses, firebolt as the blast goes out and clashes into the shield. Radagast, kind of like feeling it a bit since he's younger, but not wavering. Now, it's not that he doesn't waver, it's just like he's still able to keep it up, but it flickers. It's like, Alright. Now, Bell, try to keep Radagast from ensnaring you. Radagast, as he's like, yes sir, as he takes his staff, pushes on the ground and says, ensnare my foes' vines. As then it just comes flying up. Bell then uses shatter as he hits the vines as they just go splintering across. It's like, oh, he's like, it's nothing to worry about. Radagast, I've just had more time to train Bell on certain magic abilities. Now, Bell, continue your training with those simple spells. It's like, yes sir. As then he continues to train. This is like, see. Oh, also, to telekinesis, I almost forgot about that. Oh, sorry. So in all reality, he has 5 spells, or 5 different magics he knows. Oh, 6, if you're counting shields. So, as he's done this over a period of time, and he trains throughout the day, even sometimes when Saruman isn't there, he'll go out and train a few of these spells. And he's gotten pretty proficient with Firebolt. Then he tells Lord, as he calls him Master Saruman, about his progression. He says, that is well done, Bell. As when Saruman's speaking, it's like another wizard comes up to him. He's like, I can't help but notice how well your student's doing. Would you mind if they spar for a bit? I've been trying to teach mine right here about defensive magic. It's like, as he looks at Bell, would you be okay with training him? It's like, it's not training, it's just sparring, right? It's like, yes. As Bell, like I said, gets up actually really early to train with the sword. So, with that being said, Saruman's like, by all means then. As then the wizards, the apprentices, you could say, have a nice little Mexican standoff. Bell stands there right there, and the other one on the other side just is somewhat glaring him down. He's like, is your apprentice okay? He seems upset. He's like, some of the magic I've been teaching him, or trying to teach him, isn't effective. Like, really? Like what? He's like, well, been trying to teach him Magic Bolt and Firebolt for about a week. So upset that he hasn't gotten a control over it. He's like, well, not everyone is as talented as some others. It's like, how long it take you to train that kid right there? Seems proficient with them. He's like, it took me over a month to train him with multiple spells. I was like, oh, how many does he know? 6, actually. He knows ones that are quick for defense and offense. He has a decently powered shield, though if I hit it with a strong enough one, it would break, but against arrows inside shield do well, especially if some of the marauding or roaming orc bands have been popping up. As then the apprentice throws the first spell, Firebolt, as it goes around somewhat off mark, not hitting center and mass Bell, but Bell still put up his shield as it absorbed it. As then he's like, alright, as he says, Magic Bolt, as he blasts several of them at the same time around this wizard, sort of like making him jump around. Bell then moves in as close as, trying to get in close, so that way he could defeat him with physical abilities instead of just plain old magic. The wizard boy doesn't understand why he's getting close. The other wizard doesn't understand either. Saruman does. He knows that Bell is trained in the ways of close quarters combat to some degree. into a complete novice, like this boy. As he's thinking that, Bell gets in close, trips him, knocks away his staff, and has the thing directly to his face. He's like, he is young, but he is gifted. As then he takes the staff up and picks up the kid. As then he walks over and grabs the other staff, handing it back. He's like, it was nice sparring with you. He's like, thank you. As Radagast is training with other spells also. He's training with Shatter at this point. Like I said, defensive spells and attack spells. He tries to start them off with the basics, sort of thing. Anyways, this has been nice. And as Bell finished that fight, he's like, so what's next, Master Saruman? He's like, well, next I will teach you Lightning Bolt. You have grown proficient in the quick attack spells I have taught you. Lightning Bolt will be a bit different though. So do not expect this to be a breeze. It's like, I would never, Master Saruman. He's like, now. As they turn away to start their own training. As that's where I'm getting it off on. I hope y'all have enjoyed this. Hope y'all continue to enjoy this. And I hope y'all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.